Alright, hey guys, Fury here. I just want to make a quick video talking about, just the state of Call of Duty and the enjoyment of the game. Um, right now, with the new Call of Duty game coming out soon, I just feel that um, Call of Duty just isn't fun anymore. I mean, I can't really put it down to just like one particular thing. Uh, there's so many different factors that make me feel that way. I mean, when you look at Call of Duty now to how it used to be back in the day, I mean, there's been so many different changes. From gameplay designs to the way you find matches, the even just the ranked gameplay, which is the gameplay you're seeing on the screen right now. I mean, everything is just so different. Even the player base is different because I remember, you know, how much different the player base was back in the day. Um, and just, seeing hackers everywhere, in almost every single lobby that you get in. It's just, it makes the game so unenjoyable. And it's a bit frustrating to say the least. If you've been a fan of Call of Duty for a very long time, like I have been, if you think back to maybe, the original Call of Duty games, from maybe Call of Duty 4 coming up, or even if you played prior to Call of Duty 4, you might feel the way I do about it now. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends have stopped playing Call of Duty entirely because they just, one, they realized that didn't enjoy the game anymore. They've moved on from it completely. And then two, it's just like they realized that Call of Duty was just getting worse by the year. Because the developers, they don't really take their time to really make games, and I think that's just mainly because of the fact that, with Activision always pushing for yearly Call of Duty releases, we always see the same problems arise year after year. And no matter how much we as players complain about the game, nothing changes, and the only thing that stays the same is the fact that Call of Duty still keeps making a lot of money. And I think that mainly has to do with the fact that a lot of players think that, okay, maybe this year Call of Duty might be different. 2025 Call of Duty might be different. Or 2026 Call of Duty might be different. And it stays the same. And I feel like the only way we're really actually going to see change within this franchise is actually speaking with our wallet. Not spending all this money on skins in the game and weapons and all this other stuff that Activision keeps pushing out every year. You'll never see, for example, you'll never see the Call of Duty store go down. You'll never see it go down, but you will always see the servers having issues. You'll always see glitches in the game. It's just insane to think about. I think for me, what really has been pushing me not to enjoy Call of Duty anymore is just the fact that the games just change like constantly every year. I mean, you're playing a different Call of Duty game every year. There's 3 different studios, I think, or at least 3 or 4 different studios that work on Call of Duty every year. And every game that releases feels different. And I guarantee you, with the new Call of Duty Black Ops 7 coming out, it's not going to feel anywhere the same, nearly the same as Black Ops 6 right now. And I would say that's a bit frustrating because the constant need to have to like adjust to a new game every year. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, you never see like some of these other games, right? Like maybe Halo. You never really see Halo change too much in terms of their gameplay. It the basics of Halo still are still there. You know what the Halo fans know and love about Halo. I would like to say that it's still there, but with Call of Duty now, it's different. And I also feel like with the yearly Call of Duty releases, everything is and with the yearly Call of Duty releases, and with also just seeing the different studios create different games. I mean, you have Treyarch releasing, you know, Call of Duty games that are a little bit more futuristic. You have Infinity Ward with more of their modernized settings. And then you also have maybe Sledgehammer, who's more or less like the in-between. I guess they more just kind of cater to whatever the player base is urging for. But we're just seeing a different Call of Duty game, different style of Call of Duty game every year. You just see a major divide within the fan base of what Call of Duty should look like. And that's another frustrating thing. And it's just, it doesn't allow for really any consistent progress, because when one developer decides, okay, well, this is good for Call of Duty, another developer might erase that and say, no, this is how Call of Duty should be made. And the player base, nobody can really make up their mind on what they want Call of Duty to look like, because there's so much of a big divide in what people feel like Call of Duty should look like. And just overall, because of that divide and because of that constant change every year, I find myself just losing passion to play this game. You know, I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. You know, I've loved Call of Duty for years. I stuck with it even to some of the worst eras of Call of Duty, but you know, somehow I still find ways to play this game. And maybe you could argue too that I'm part of the problem, because I'm not speaking with my wallet either, and I hold on to this hope, this nostalgia that Call of Duty will change, and it doesn't. Even when it does, even when they do something good, there's always that like one thing that Activision and Call of Duty does that takes the game like back to a state of where like people don't enjoy it. I mean, for example, let's just talk about SBMM real quick. I feel like with the state of SBMM in the game right now, people are no longer just like, even just from casual players, you know, people aren't just gonna hop on the game anymore and have fun. People know that every time they log on to the game, it's gonna be a rough time. And you could even argue that, like, even if you don't even have a high KD, you're still gonna be put in these lobbies that are just so brutal and so frustrating to play. You know, coming off of a long shift maybe from work or coming home from school, and maybe you're not 100% up for like the sweating that sometimes takes place when you're playing Call of Duty, and it can just be really frustrating and annoying. And I can see why so many people, you know, pivot to, you know, just sticking with other games that don't create as much frustration and as much annoyance in general. But yes, this has been more of a ramble type video. I mean, I don't really have a structure of how I want to talk about things in here, because I feel like, I mean, that's just how Call of Duty really is. I mean, there's so many different topics within Call of Duty not being fun anymore to talk about, and yeah, I don't know. I'm at that point where I just feel like I shouldn't even buy Call of Duty anymore. And I know for some people it'll be like, yeah, bro, you shouldn't buy Call of Duty anymore because it's the best decision that I've ever made. You know, I'm sure there's probably somebody in the comments is probably gonna tell me that, you know, going and playing other games, you know, is definitely gonna be better for my mental health. And I do play other games, by the way. I don't just play Call of Duty, but this has been probably the one franchise that, you know, I've really taken a love for and never really skipped out on, despite all the frustrations with the game. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give my opinion on this topic, and maybe some of you can also tell me, you know, some of your frustrations with the game currently, or why. Maybe you can give me a reason why you stopped playing Call of Duty. I'm sure there's various reasons, and you guys can, so you could let me know, and we can also progress that discussion. So yeah, this is just one of the first videos I'm making, commentary wise, of like, well, practically in general, because I've never really made a commentary video before. So yeah, hopefully, I'm really hoping that Call of Duty this year is somewhat enjoyable. I don't have my expectations high. I actually have zero expectations for how Call of Duty should look. I'm just hoping that I enjoy the game in general, because these past few years for Call of Duty just has not been that fun for me. Yeah, and I just hope that maybe things change. Maybe they won't. Most likely they won't, and we're just gonna have to live with that idea. So yeah, to wrap up here, I'm not sure what my next video is gonna be, but I'm hoping that if it is a Call of Duty video, that we're talking about something positive when it comes to the game, because right now I don't feel like there's a whole lot of positives surrounding the game. So yeah. Alright, wrapping up with this gameplay right here. We make a small comeback at the end, barely hanging on for the win. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. You know, if you've made it this far into the video, I'm really grateful for you guys to sit here and listen to me ramble about, you know, this game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and you'll hear from me soon.
I started to tee up at the end. That was getting bodied the whole game trying to get time. If we could get like 8 more seconds from you, we would have won, my nigga. I swear to God, my nigga. This nigga had 18.